Welcome back to part 2 of the Real on Parenting. Now, y'all know how every time Danielle and I start, we always laugh at something. It does not change when we have company. Okay, we are always gonna be laughing about something, and I hit that record button when everybody's mouth is wide open. So there's. I am your co-host, Coach Kiana Shaw.
Am I? See, this is where we fall off. So I'm there. You supposed to say, can we pause and rewind? I'm therapist Danielle.
All right,
Hi,
we're
everybody.
gonna start over. Welcome everybody to the Real on Parenting. I am your co-host, Coach Kiana Shaw, and this is my co-host.
Therapist Danielle. See, I was waiting for the intro. I didn't have one.
I'm sorry.
You know how my brain work. I'm a creature of habit.
Okay,
All right.
and joining us again, right? Because we just had to do a part 2. The wonderful, the beautiful, the talented Miss Paula Hammond. Wait, where's my clapper?
I didn't get that. Wait.
What?
I'm not
she thought that was her intro. It's okay. It's
like,
okay.
I'm posing. I'm posing.
And one of the most amazing will join in on Spirit Day dance competition because she got it like that. The best loctician ever. And you can tell by how her hair looks, Miss Jamie Puckett. Now, see, now I feel like I gotta go back and do Danielle and Paula's introductions.
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good.
I was like, all I got was amazing. Like, and just real quick, when you guys send your kids to a program where KRS Training and Development is facilitating, you may get either one of us because Jamie and Paula are our teachers. They're some of our facilitators. And so it's great because you guys connect with the kids in an amazing way. And Paula, just in observation of your class and the feedback that I get, I'm like, oh yeah, she really do bring all the teacher stuff to the classroom. You really about that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm glad. Yeah, okay, that's good. I'm glad. I enjoy it. I enjoy it.
All right. So real quick, how did is it your favorite bestie? See, I'm about to butcher it. Okay.
10 minutes talks with your favorite
bestie start. How did this whole concept come about?
So the show, 10 Minute Talks with Your Favorite Besties, it started years ago.
Just FYI, that's like, I'm never going to get that right, but go ahead.
It started years ago. So when I first started at Centennial in 2009, there was an assistant principal there named Lakeisha Washington, and she brought me to Paula and was like, basically put us together and said, you're going to mentor this lady here because she's a new teacher. She needs help. She needs a strong Black teacher who knows what they're doing. Show her the way. So Lakeisha Washington put me under Paula's wing, and I've been there ever since. So Paula likes to tell the story that I came in hot talking about how I don't do work friends and I didn't need no more friends. And, I was just a lone wolf out there in them Centennial streets. And she was like, you're going to get this friendship, basically, is what she did. And I got the
fun.
Right. I got the friendship. I came on in. So I started going to her classroom at lunchtime. In her classroom at lunchtime, anybody who was everybody will fall through at some point, right? And so I just started sitting down, having conversations with Paula during lunch, and other people started coming through. And then at some point, it was myself, Paula, our other friend, Tommy Watkins, who's usually there every day. She's still there every day. Okay. She comes into the lives. And at the time, it was another friend named Regis Inge. So he was our male voice. He's a legend in Compton. If y'all don't know Regis, then
Well, Baisley was there too. Make sure you say Baisley.
Oh, I'm sorry, Baisley. I'm sorry, you were there too. But he wasn't. Baisley wasn't there consistently in the beginning.
Yeah, in the beginning.
So Baisley would come through as well every now and again. Then when Regis left, then it became.
I want to let y'all know I'm from Compton. I don't know Regis, but I'm not gonna have.
Oh,
you see her drama
because I don't know him. Okay. Put that out there.
She's like,
People be like,
Well,
you're
I
not
don't think I would have
confident,
said
you
that
don't
on
know such
camera.
and such.
So,
And I'll be like,
So wait,
so well, he's
before
a
you tell your
legend
story-
in Compton Unified.
So
Alright.
even if you don't know him, Kiana, you've probably had students who've crossed his path. You know what
Mhm.
I'm
I
saying?
can live with that.
Yeah,
I
'cause
don't like
even
my,
before-
my status questioned. because
No,
I know somebody.
Even
Mhm.
before I met him, I was teaching students who he had taught in middle school. So I had his name, I had heard his name prior to me getting the students. And he doesn't like to be called a legend. He's very humble. He actually, when I
But
say
he
it, he
is.
kind of feels away. But he's definitely, the kids know him. He's been there years and he's really made his mark. But I'm gonna correct Jamie on part of her story, but I'm
I
gonna let
was
her.
gonna ask you to. I was like,
I need to correct
clearly
some
I can
things.
hear it. I saw
I
you.
know what part she gonna. I already know what part she's talking about, but you know. So anywho, after Regis left, then we had two other members come, and at that time we called ourselves the Black Caucus. So that was Sean Foster and Dominic McGifford, right?
Mhm.
With Nicole Fisher, Tommy Watkins, and then us two. So that became this huge conglomerate. So then Paula started selling paparazzi jewelry, right?
Yes.
And we needed
Yes.
to
I think
figure out a
these days
way.
some of your paparazzis.
Yes.
My eye.
Still
So
have
then she needed to figure out a way to grow her client base, and so she was like, I think I'm gonna start doing lives. I think I'm gonna start going live at lunch because that's the only downtime that I really have. So
Yeah.
but then her first live, she was like, I don't know if I could just be in this by myself. Like, I need you to help me. Like, just come stand in the background. So I was like, okay. So the very first live, I was standing in the background, just like, yes, buy this jewelry, buy this earring. And she used to always say,
and you were great
$5.
at sales. You were great at helping with the sales because I think it was like 3 shows in. I was like, all right, let me go ahead and buy my jewelry. Like,
So Paula would be doing her spiel. So like, this is the jewelry, and she had to hold up a number, and she would show the jewelry, say it's $5, lead and nickel free. If you like this, comment mine and say the number. And she would just be moving on, and just organic conversations would happen between me and Paula and the other people in the room about the jewelry. And at some point, maybe like 3 years ago, at some point, it switched over to not being about the jewelry.
Yeah, it started, the jewelry had nothing to do with it. We just really found, because people was like, what about we just found people were more interested in our dynamic and our conversations.
yes.
And just kind of tuning in to see us interact. And that's what it was. And that literally, because even now, people, what about the jewelry? I'm like, well, you guys weren't really buying it, and you just really want to talk. You just
really
wanted to talk.
Right.
And hear us talk. And so we just leaned into that. Seriously, that was
She still sells her jewelry. You can find it on Jewels by Paula K. $5, lead and nickel free.
Yeah.
I'm just like, can we go back to like Money Mondays and start doing jewelry on Mondays, and then the rest
We
of
don't
the
have to do something. But can I correct her story now? Is it my point to correct her story?
Yes, you may.
So here's the thing. You don't need to do that, Jamie. But here's the thing about that. Yes,
I'm ready for the Shaninis.
No, just facts. So Lakeisha was my friend, and she absolutely did put us together for me to mentor her. Now, at the time, I was already in my room, and there was a couple people who ate lunch in there. I had another friend. Honestly, this is the truth. I had another friend, another Black teacher there, who didn't know Jamie, but just had already developed an impression. Didn't even know her. Now, I'm the kind new Black teacher on campus. I'm just going to be friendly. Just gonna, until you show me something different, and then I'm just going to say hi or not say hi. My friend didn't really care for Jamie, didn't know her. Okay. So there wasn't really an opportunity for me to even really get closer, because my friend was also very protective. She was very like, this is our lunchtime at the meetings.
Yeah, my therapeutic ears are going up. But
right. So the people that
already got a
don't have
treatment
plan.
plan.
Yeah, there just wasn't going to be a space for
Jamie. Said I already have a treatment plan.
And I do.
But listen, therapist Danielle, but what happened was my friend passed away.
Oh,
she died. So when she passed away, it was the beginning of the 2010 school
11?
Year. The beginning.
Was it 10?
No, it was the beginning of the 2010-2011 school year.
Yeah.
That's when she passed, right?
Okay.
So what happened was, when she passed, Jamie started coming to my room for lunch. right? Like organically. That's when you started, because you weren't coming before. So the beginning of that school year, I might have mentioned like, hey, whatever, whatever. And she started coming over for lunch. But prior to that, even if she had wanted to, honestly, my friend would have just made it not a comfortable space anyway.
Yeah.
And I could see that. I knew how my friend was. She really, really needed me. So I could sacrifice trying to make a new friend because I knew the space my friend was in and I was her main, you know what I'm saying? And she needed me. And so once she passed, I was like, that was that season that she needed me, you know? And when that door closed, unfortunately, when she passed away, that's instantly when Jamie started coming over to my room and hanging out. So I was open, but I'm like, cool, now there's a space for her. Now, the other piece of it was she wasn't into work friends. And guess what, y'all? You were not, but that was okay for me. That was fine for me because I had friends outside, stores outside. I had all these other situations outside. So it was okay. I was cool, just we could hang out at work. One day Jamie came to me, and if I'm wrong, please, friend, correct me. She just kind of was like, how come you never invite me like out to hang out outside of work? I said, it goes both ways. Like if you want to hang out outside of work, it goes both ways. Invite me. But up until that point, in all honesty, I did not know she wanted to do that. I don't think she overtly expressed like I don't do work friends. I don't think she overtly said that. She might have thrown it out there, or I might have got that vibe. But that was the only reason. Like I didn't know. So once she said, "Hey," then I knew like, oh, you'd like to hang out outside of work. But up until that point, I was totally fine. We're at work, what, 7 hours? We get a lunch break. So we're really, when you think about it, sometimes your work friends, you're spending a lot more time with them than you do your girlfriend you get together with maybe once a month for a 2 hour brunch. You know what I mean? But I didn't know until she said. Now, if I'm wrong, Jamie, please feel free to correct me.
I mean, I don't really remember the full conversation, but I mean, if that's how she say it happened, then that's what it is. Because you can't really go against the 91. Can't go against it.
But y'all, that was the opening to hanging outside of work and whatever. Because you figure we were already cool at work, sharing things at work. You know what I'm saying? But like, honestly, I didn't know. And I had a lot going on my weekends. I was constantly here, there, everywhere. And so once she said that, I was like, okay.
I think for me, it was more so I came from Bakersfield. And so all of my friends were in Bakersfield. I think I had been here for some years prior to working at Centennial, but my friends were in Bakersfield. So I hadn't really made like real friends in LA. And like Paula said, we worked together 7 hours a day,
Right.
And so as we started hanging out, she would always tell me stories about like things that she had done, things that, places she was going with her friends. And we didn't necessarily have a conversation about me not doing work friends. It's just one of those things like I just never felt like I needed to hang out with people from work. So I did tell her, like, I don't really do work friends. Like, I see you all day long. Why do I need to kick it with you outside of work?
I understand. I truly understand.
Right.
But I am the one that's saying I'm cool. Thank you, but no thank you, politely, respectfully.
Right. But then like seeing how cool she was, and we was already hanging out all day anyway, but she was actually really down to earth and like really, really cool. She wasn't hood, because like I did go out with somebody from work, Kiana. I did go out with somebody from work that was hood, and I was like, oh, my cup of tea. I can't do it. And just those type of experiences, I was just like, I'm good on work people. But just seeing who she was, she, was in a relationship, she had a son, and like she was just the type of person that I wanted to kick it with. And so when she would tell me the stories that, her going out with her friends, I'm like, oh, I like to brunch. I want to go to the concert. Like she was just always doing stuff. And if I wasn't going to Bakersfield to see my friends, then I would just be at the house. So I'm just like, I want to go. Invite me. So that's how we got started.
That's how and for me, I'm just always open to new friendship because I believe even at this big old age, I just haven't met all the people I'm supposed to meet. You know what I mean? So the days, I guess I could be like, I'm a friend collector. I don't necessarily call everybody friend because
that's what it sounds like. It sounds like a little giving.
I'm a friend collector, even though I've learned like everyone's not necessarily my friend yet. it'll just be a buddy or an associate.
And the key word was yet.
Yeah, you know what I'm
See,
saying?
my ears
Yes.
just keep
But
perking up.
I'm open. You know what I'm saying? But I'm open. I'm never like, I
Sure.
have enough friends. Because listen,
Yeah.
friends move. Friends can pack up and say,
do.
hey, me and my husband are moving to Dallas. And that's your main friend that you kick. So now what? I just can't go to brunch no more, or I can't, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm
Yeah.
kind of open because
Let me say
like,
this. Paula
Mhm.
is a great friend. She's a great
you.
friend. She's like, so this is where you get your 91 octane. So sit there, sip your tea, and soak it up, okay? So she's a great friend. Like, she's thoughtful, she's very kind, she's
Helpful.
respectful, she's helpful.
Always makes you feel
Like,
seen.
yes, like she is the person that listens to things that you like and love. She picks up on it. Like Danielle says, oh, my therapist's ears are on. So Paula's friends' ears are always on. You know, like she picks up on little things that you like. And like I like gummy bears, right? I like Haribo gummy bears. Paula will bring me a bag of Haribo gummy bears at least once a week to work. Like, to the point where I'll be like, Paula, I still got like 2 other bags in my freezer. But it's just the thought. Like, this woman is so thoughtful. She thinks about you when you just really, you shouldn't even be thought about. Like, you were out with your family and you thought about me. You thought enough about me to bring me a muffin. Like, it's crazy her level of kindness, right? And so, that's why she has a lot of friends. Because why would somebody leave that alone? Why would somebody walk away from that? You know, so she is a friend collector because once you experience her energy, then it's like, okay, I'm not going nowhere. I'm not going nowhere.
Thank you, friend.
And she actually has people that fight for like spots. Like, so I always say that I'm right here under her wing because you know the lady put me under her wing, so I'm right here. We have people that's fighting for places. Like I'm the best friend. So my title
because we do that.
My title is the work bestie, right? She has a gym bestie. She has another bestie, and people are like, I just had somebody real bestie. Because then she also has her sands, right? No, I'm not asking you. She also has her sands, and her sands have levels. It's levels. It's levels to this friendship thing. But me, I see her every day, so I don't care.
You do.
You know what? It is levels to the friendship thing, but I'll say this. So I have a younger sister who's 9 years younger than me. So I pretty much grew up on my own. So for me, friendship has always been important because that's all I had. I had friendship and I had my cousins, right? My close cousins. But then when my cousins were no longer in my near vicinity, like I needed to rely on really building friendship. And so that's why I just take it so seriously because, you know, when you're an only child for the most part, you're going home, you have to find people to play with or you're bored and your parents are like,
I play with my dogs and I talk to them
go.
too. But anyway, that's another story, another treatment plan.
So that for me, when I think about like, how did you get this way? But it really is just like having to lean on friends because I didn't have a sibling that was close in age. And even when my sister came along, it's more of like an older sister, like parenting thing. Like I can't hang out with you because you're 4. You know what I mean? So I have to, you know what I'm saying? So I have to rely on those, you know, the friendship thing. So definitely I have people who like, I had someone else just recently say, introduced me, this is my bestie. And I was like,
right. And the friends is like, you're going to correct that, right? Mm-hmm. Yes. That will be a private conversation, but you will address it. Thank you.
Know? And then just also being mindful because everybody has a place in my heart. Everyone's come in at a different season and provided a different thing. And it just organically, like Jamie one day just was like, this is my work bestie. And I was like, hey, we're work besties. And I was cool with it because we had developed a relationship where she's just really important. My gym bestie. This is my gym bestie. I was like, okay, I thought we were just working out. But once you started inviting me to family functions and she was really pulling me in to be a part of her life, I was like, okay, all right. And I just saw like just me showing up how I show up and people, you know, was like, all right, you my bestie. I was like, okay, I'm with it. we feel the same.
And I think friendships like that are so important and genuine. But they're like, when you have a friend that is really good for your soul, right? That is very healing just because they show up. Taraji P. Henson was talking about, she was like, my friends will pull up on me. She was like, I was in a whole nother state. And she was like, I didn't like your hello. So I pulled up because we about to figure this out, right? I have those friends, right? I have the friends that check up on me. I have the friends that are like, hey, your house is just not, it ain't Kiana. Like, what's going on here? We about to clean up, right? And you go lay down, I'm gonna clean up. Like, I have those friends, and I think that is so important to have. And I got some writers too, like, please understand. Uh, we have those writers that are like the people I go to if something happens, like, you know what, I'm gonna need a ride over here. Like, somebody take the license plate off the pacer, right? Let's go. Uh, but I think that having friendships that transcend the moment, that are like, hey, we're work besties, but feel free to call me in the middle of the night, right? Like, I'm gonna
and I'm not that friend. I'm just gonna put that out there.
right. Danielle
That
is
means
not
you
the one
are
I'm
on the
talking
way to the hospital, and
on
you need to know
fire.
the logistics of
Yeah,
what to be said and what to expect. Then call me with
yeah. I gotta be
hoopla,
on fire on the way to the hospital.
But as long as you know the boundaries,
right.
then you won't be surprised.
I'm glad you understand the word, right? So,
Yes, but I think that people forget that we transition as we go, right? Whether it's I don't want no new friends to no, I understand I need new friends. Because as I get older, I need friends in real estate, I need therapy friends, I need friends in accounting, right? Like I need new people just because my life is changing. But it's okay if you don't feel like you need them people, right? Because you can call me and I'm gonna connect you with my people, and then you gonna handle transactions, and then we going back to just me and you. Like, I get that. And I think that it's so important that as women that we develop these friendships and that we honor them, because like Paula said, her friend passed away. So knowing that our friends won't always be there, sometimes not because it's an argument, sometimes it's because life literally transitioned, right? And just appreciating the right now. I think that's important. But I want to move on, if that's okay with y'all, to parenting, right? Because we are the real on parenting. Y'all are parenting boys. Well, Paula, you got a whole man now, but
yes,
y'all are parenting boys. What are some of the things that, as a seasoned mom, Jamie, I consider you still a new mom, because how old is your son?
He turned 8 in March.
Right. So I still consider us, because, like, I felt like I was like a vet when Kayla turned 10, but then I discovered there's a whole new level of middle school.
Talk about that transition.
Yeah.
They come for your gangster daily.
Yeah, so I'm assuming that you're not really a vet until your kid is about 25, but maybe
because I still don't know what I'm doing.
Try 30.
I still don't know what I'm doing. Paula and I literally just had a conversation about school yesterday, like how to work with these teachers parenting our kids. Like I still go to her for questions.
Your son, he only has one teacher, so you're literally co-parenting. You and your husband are co-parenting with this teacher.
Yes.
That's
one of my biggest fears. One of my biggest fears that I told Paula yesterday is him getting a teacher who immediately, when he walks through the door, just sees a little Black boy that does not need to be educated. That is my biggest fear, because I don't want to have to go up to the school, cuss a teacher out, and go to jail, because it will happen. Like, don't do my baby like that. Like, I don't appreciate it. He deserves to be educated just like everybody else.
Yeah. And I remember the things that were said to us, right? I was in the gifted and talented education. We still had teachers telling us that we were going to be pregnant in high school. We still had teachers saying you're going to be dead before you hit 25. Like, if you're saying this to what is considered the best of the grade, what are you saying to the kids? Like, I remember having a teacher who was she was a Black woman, but she talked to us about not ever hiring Black people. We were in like 6th, 7th grade. Why would you tell us this? Why would this be your mentality, right? And to this, I remember her name just because I literally just remember feeling hatred towards her, right? And I remember how she would ask, there was one particular Black kid who was just very quiet. Like, he was in the gifted and talented education class. He was just very quiet. And she would like, oh, tell me how to spell this, or you know, like, it was the word tongue, right? Because Tongue Twister came to our school. Who was a rapper? Came to our school, and she's like, what's the proper way to spell tongue? So when he spelled it, she was like, I'm very surprised. Why? We in the freaking 7th grade. Why would you be surprised at that? But those are the things that we encountered, right? And I always just looked at it like, well, she's Black, but she's not American Black. You know what I mean? Like, she was from, I forget where she was from. I want to say Haiti, but I don't think it was Haiti. But it was just her perspective of us was very damaging to the kids, right? And I just remember thinking, like, I never want to be like her, which is why in my life of being a facilitator and interacting with kids and mentoring, I'm very much like, let me love you. Because I know that you got people who are here giving you a repeated trauma every single day. That's not thinking about the fact that you're adopted, not thinking about the fact that you might be in foster care, not thinking about the fact that, you know, you might be in a whole domestic terrorism situation. Like, they just go off of what you're displaying here and never wanting to get to the root cause. Maybe your parents are not involved and they don't care, but because your parents don't care and the teacher doesn't care, you feel like nobody cares. And that's not okay, right? It's just never okay. So as parents of young Black boys, what are some of the fears? I know you said that he'll have a teacher that just only sees that, but what are some of the other fears that you face just because you have young Black boys?
Well, I'll let Paula go first because she has a grown Black boy,
right,
with more trauma and fears than any of us have.
Right.
So he's 21. He'll be 22 on Tuesday.
Happy birthday.
Happy early birthday.
I don't want to say his name. I want to respect.
So that's almost, so for me, that's almost 22 years of parenting. Yes. So my fears are just because he's so social and he's always on the go and outside. Obviously, just normal things. The police situation, being in the wrong place, which started out the right place, but then it turns into the wrong place. Right. You know, how to navigate that. And because that's the thing. And it's really that. Just really being in the wrong place at the wrong time, and something happens, an interaction goes wrong, or those are the things, just coming home. You know what I'm saying? We try to tell them, like, it's important to know where you are. It's not even about, he still lives at home. It's not even about knowing your business. But honestly, there are sometimes I don't know where he is. His dad is really like, dude, if I don't know where you are, I don't know where to come get you.
Right. I don't know where to start looking.
I don't even know where to start looking or who to say, because he's good for, I'm with my friend. What friend though?
And he's just as social as his mama.
Right.
He been outside before outside was outside. So
yeah, he's been outside before outside was outside. He's really social. And so, like, he knows some of everybody. You know what I'm saying? And he's at the age where, like, he's still, one thing I'll say this, I'm thankful for that he still listens to his parents. Like, he's not going to do all the things that we want him to do per se. We would love that. Like, I'm more of, I get it. He's always going to be open to us telling the things. He really is. So I'm thankful. He's definitely open, but he's not always going to go the path that I choose. So I get that. His dad, on the other hand, is like, I don't see why not. Like, I don't see why he wouldn't just do exactly. But he's his own person, though. You know what I'm saying? But he still is his. Right. So I'm also a firm believer. He's not my mini me. And I've told him that. You're not my mini me. You're you. So you get to choose your own path. Right. Whether I like it
nor is he your husband.
Well, he doesn't.
Because that's the thing.
It is. And it is. Yes.
Not my husband.
So why did you jump in with that? Like, I don't
know why she did that.
So, well, because we know it needed to be said. Because we know.
Yeah, but not because that's what the dynamic is with her and her son. Just to clarify, yeah, right. It's just that people. Yes, let's clarify this.
So I am not married. He is 21, going on 22. His father and I are still together. So it's over however many years. Okay. So he does see the dynamic of two people who are not perfect people, right? There's no perfect relationship over here, but he sees it. And for me, that was always important. Like that was another thing with school, even though I was always the front going to the places, but I just didn't want them thinking, okay, here's a single mom raising a Black boy or things like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now you haven't labeled him, now you do whatever. So I always was at the things, but there were some times where like, for example, registration would happen. His dad always took him to school registration from 7th on to senior year. He was there with the book pickup, going over the classes. Hey, you should think about that. So he was that face where some parents, they were honestly at that point sending their kids on their own. You know what I mean? So it was just important for him. He knows, like, you can come to us. Now, I know he doesn't come to us with all the things. And there's some things he comes to me with that I feel like he's coming in confidence. So it's a little tricky sometimes because I feel like, so you're telling me this in confidence, dang, but how do I not share? Because this over here is my partner,
And
but you're my son. And you know what I mean? So that I'm still learning that. But I also know as men, they got their own thing. There's some things I have so there's no, he don't have a you know what I'm saying? There's things that they talk about as men, man on man, that I just don't know.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I sometimes feel obligated to say, hey, but then there's other times where I feel like he's told me that and I need to be quiet. You know what I'm saying? I need to, if he share that with me or I know a certain thing, I have to be quiet because that's me and my son, we have our relationship and he knows like I have your back 100%. I'm not really going to lie for you, but I absolutely have your back and I want him to know that. And I think that's why he continues to come to us for different things, sometimes together or sometimes separate. But I want him to know that. And on the flip side, as a young adult, he can tell me because there was recently a little situation where somebody had shared something and I wanted to talk to him about it, but I didn't want to out the person who kind of told me. My son did not like it, not even a little bit. He was upset.
Like, I'm grown.
And he was like, upset, Mom, the way you can. And I was like, honestly, y'all, my feelings were really hurt because I was like, dang, I missed the mark. Like they shared that with me and I was trying to be protective mom because like he's young, but I care about his character and I want him to move in the world a certain kind of way. But the way I was trying to approach it was just incorrect. And he was upset and he was like, no, the way you came, and he, when he gets upset, it's almost like it's not a mom-son thing. It's just like you're this lady who came at me with some crazy stuff and now I have to, and I'm like, so that was a learning experience. And I had to really come back because I do this. I'll come back and I'll apologize and say, you know what, I handled that incorrectly. And I do have to realize you're a young adult. And so I'm going to do better. You know what I'm saying? And so I've learned that because that was recent. And so when we have our little moments, it hurts me to my core because I want to be hardcore and I want to be like this. But then I'm on the flip side, like I know how he is about certain things. And so just still learning that, you know what I'm saying? And learning like, hey, when he's upset, it takes him a minute to come off the upsetness. But then on the flip side, I know, brother, you're going to need me. So you can stay upset. The parent part kicks in. It's like, you're going to need me. Act crazy if you want to, because you still live here. You still need our food.
Come on now, and I can demote you to visitor at any time.
And you still need the thing. So while I'm respecting him as an adult and realizing like I have to come, because he was like, you came on some coded stuff. You didn't really like, because I was trying to give him the information and ask him about a certain thing without telling it.
Right. Oh, it broke up a little bit.
Yeah.
That's
such and such said.
There you go.
The person who got the information, I said, I got to back out this one, baby. Oh, shoot. I think my internet connection is tripping.
That's okay. That's okay. We got you. We got you. Like,
yeah.
He was like, you coming in coded.
And you coming in coded.
I'm trying to protect the other person while also giving you the info. And
yeah,
sometimes that
coming in, basically, Mom, you're on some weird stuff. You're coming in coded. Yeah. And I was like,
it sound like whose side you on.
And so literally I had to say, y'all, I had to back out of this because this is my son and I have to like, y'all, you guys will all figure those things out.
Figure it out, right.
I'm gonna go back to my low life because my relationship with my son is more important than this information that you're telling me, so still learning those things and still like giving him the advice, wanting him to finish college and wanting him to become independent. So still very much hands-on, but he's grown-ish, not grown. He has a great situation. Come and go when you, I mean, he knows that. That's why I think we've only heard the I'm grown one time only. And then the quick reminder of the ways in which you're not. And then like, that's never been a thing because he knows his bread is absolutely buttered. Right.
Oh, it absolutely is. He's got it good. I want to come live with them.
You know what I'm saying? So I think he recognizes that his bread is absolutely buttered, but like, hey, we're gonna start preparing you because at some point, see, we have mom and dad have different views on when the launch from the home should be.
Mm-hmm. A lot of
so
times
just
like,
you know what I'm saying? Like
with our boys.
Especially with our boys. So knowing the launch, you know, he got to be prepared. Here's the thing, he has to be prepared for the launch, financially prepared to sustain the launch. Because if he's not, then the supplement will be happening. And so we want as the least amount of supplement, but we do have to prepare him. And I just tell him, like, you need to have a career that supports your lifestyle because you're living a lifestyle based on the fact that you live at home, you work. I mean, he's not here now. He's on a trip. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, and in some situations, his counterparts don't have the luxury of that because the parents have already launched them and you guys will figure it out. Right. But I'm not going to make my baby just figure it out. I'm going to make sure he's fully prepared so he can be successful once he's out.
So a lot of things that
your baby. I'm gonna just
right. They still are babies, our adult babies, right? That we can no longer physically pick up. But there's a lot of things that you've shared just within the aspect of in this journey of being an adult mom, of a mom of an adult child and a son at that, a Black son, and learning and adjusting. I work with parents, I work with the kids, I work with the problems, behaviors, all that. But there is that assumption a lot of times that once they turn grown, 18, they're good. The parenting lessons. And I'm like, no, we jumping up to that next level that you didn't know was there, whether you want to or not. So either you gonna hold on and pull yourself onto level or you just gonna fall. But there still is that level of trust that you spoke of. And in regards to allowing him to have that space to share with you what he chooses to share with you, because that's his choice. As a parent, we would love for them to tell us all, but however is that understanding that even though he's grown-ish, there we go. Even though he's grown-ish and he's figuring out his way, learning who he is and who he's not, what he wants and what he doesn't, and what needs to happen to establish what he wants and wants to continue is once he leaves the nest home. But the most recent incident, I won't say incident, I would just say life happened. So the aspect of parenting where information was brought to you and you are trying to
navigate.
Right, save face for the person. Trying to be that middleman, which it looked like the middleman, no, mom would like stop. But I can hear what you got from it was, okay, even though I would have liked to address this, I saw that that's not my place. Mm-hmm. And with being a parent, sometimes that's a hard pill to swallow. Because it's like you're an adult, but you're still mom, and you're trying to figure out your way. But the fact that you acknowledge that and you apologized. I tell parents all the time, I don't care if your child is 2. If you wrong, you need to apologize. So the fact that you apologize showed me that that's not the first time that you acknowledged where you may have not had the best approach or felt that something specific in the way that it was done was the right way, but it happened and see that, yeah, that really didn't work out as planned, and adjusting accordingly. So speaking to all parents of adult children, they have their own life. And we have the privilege of being in it. And I'm going to say, however, if they're under your roof, it's a totally different story, but still, there is the respect factor. You're not coming at him talking out the side of your neck. Like, no, because you are still a demonstration of the real world.
Right.
So it is like, as you said, that you're working on making sure that he's prepared and he has basically his toolbox is equipped so that when he does leave, he knows what to expect and he has all entities needed. It's not like you lived the life of the past 5 years and you've done and go where, because I have a trip next week and where, you know what I mean? So it's like you should be preparing your children to become dependent, like, we have other series, but dependent to where they can care for themselves. It doesn't mean that they fly for the nest, they never come back. There's things that happen, but that structure, that expectation, that information, the access, the resources, as a parent, you're providing all of that. Yeah. And not just because they turn 18. It's kind of like a different level of resources, but it's a part of parenting, and it should continue to flow and transition along the way.
And I think too, sometimes we'll say, his dad and I will talk, and he'll be like, he should know how to do this, and he doesn't. I said, but we've been doing it for him. Like, you don't see that?
Exactly.
Like, a lot of the things that you're saying, well, he should such and such. I was like, but you don't realize that he knows, like, I can rely on my parents. And to be honest, that's a safety net that some young people just may not have. Like, he absolutely knows. I can call, like, if there's a car issue, call my dad, walk me through. What do I say? Because he's the one like, well, what do I say when I get there? He knows, we may fuss, but I'm gonna walk you through how to do that. Well, mom, can you such and such or And he's had that, and he's going to continue to have that. And some of his own counterparts don't necessarily have that. There's been times where his dad has had to help somebody else get a car. And when you go down there, say this, well, look at such and such, so he can absolutely say to somebody, well, my mom will help you with that, or go to my mom, she'll help you with my dad. And I feel honored that he feels like I can still do that at almost 22. Like, I know my parents, they may talk because they don't talk mess, because that's kind of what we do in this household, but I can rely on them. Like, you guys just don't, and let's be clear. He can scam us. We get scammed a little bit. Like, we're aware of that. We're aware of
scammed. Okay. The wording.
Right? We get scammed a little bit. So I'm absolutely aware that you can set alerts on your phone, but you're going to text me and say, hey, mom, I have such and such. Can you remind me to do such and such? Or can you? And I get it. I know that you can set that up, and you could also use a planner, but that's fine. We're going to all get this college degree because we've been in it together. And so we're going to make sure. But I feel, the
it's
fact
like
that
all of ours, we just keep it on your wall.
Yeah, they got your name on it.
It really is all of ours, because to get him, especially since I see, like, along the way, he's had counterparts who dropped out of college and have not finished. And you're like, I'm still in awe, because while he's very social, he's a much better college student grade-wise, and he's been able to produce in the midst of being as social as he is, to be almost done. And that a lot of that is, hey, how many units? So we can't understand as parents how you can have a college student and not know how many units they're taking. Are you close to graduation? Is your major still the same? Just those general questions that you may ask a young college student. Like, how do you not know those things? Like, it's not a hands-off situation, especially if you want them to complete it, if you want them to get a full-time job and you want them to be self-sufficient. Like, asking them the questions and encouraging them is still important. You know what I mean? When I grew up, it was like, either you're going to go to college or work. Like, there's no not doing anything. He's always known college. Like, you going to college, whether, like, if kicking and screaming, like, you're going to go. There wasn't a point where he didn't want to do it. So that was good. You know what I mean? But I just appreciate the fact that he knows, like, hey, I can go to my parents.
Got it. Now, Jamie, I have a question, because your son is in a very young state right now, right? Like, you said 8. So I have a perspective as a mom of a girl, as a mom of a boy. How is middle school with these little girls?
Well, he's not in middle school yet. He's going to
elementary. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's going to the 3rd grade.
But we had a couple of interactions with boys that, shout out to me for getting through them felony free. So what is the things that you have had to encounter with the kids?
So from what I know,
that's a good perspective from what you know. Okay.
From what I know, Kason is still trying to say that he doesn't like girls.
Okay.
I don't like girls. But there is at least one young lady that I do know that he is fond of.
Okay. How do you know that? Is he like fixing his clothes when he around her? Like what's the thing?
So so there was a dance, and apparently there was a note passed for the dance. One invited the other. One said they was gonna wear they fresh new Jordans. The other one said that, they was gonna get there in a really nice car and that they was gonna dance together.
Okay.
When we went to Six Flags for his birthday, he wanted to get her a souvenir. So I know that he's a fan. Yeah, but as far as I feel like we have a pretty open relationship to where he feels like he can tell me stuff. I know one thing for him, he does not like to be in trouble. So anything that's gonna get him in trouble, he like tries to back away. He doesn't like to be yelled at. He don't like to get in trouble. So I feel like if it's something bad, he's probably gonna tell me. Or he's just gonna stay away from it altogether.
Got it.
So for him, there's been a couple situations at the school where girls have like told him to do things that he knew wasn't right. Girls have tried to show him things that he knew wasn't right. And
They do, unfortunately.
They do.
They do.
And as far as I know, all of the situations have been in a group. So there's nothing where he was isolated with the person.
Okay.
So it was always, so when I get the story, it's always, well, such and such told such and such. So it's never him, right? He was just there. He was just observing.
Okay.
So it was never something that he did.
Mm-hmm.
Again, he don't want to be in trouble. So I'm going to remove myself and say that it was somebody else.
Right.
So as far as little girls, in real life, I think I know his type. I think I know his interest. But I don't. What was the question?
I just want to know, like, what is some of the experience? So, like, by the time Kayla was in first grade, and she's a year ahead, but in first grade is where, a boy was like, come under the table and let's play like marriage, right? Then he kissed her. Then like that same grade, different boy was like, can you go to the bathroom and do sex with me, right? So I had to that called for a parent conference, right? The little man is anyway. So there have been levels of things that have been said to her or tried, and I'm just like, who is raising these little boys, right? But I also understand that when I look back onto my elementary, middle school years, it wasn't always the boys. Sometimes,
right, and that's what I was about to say.
It was absolutely the little girls, right?
I
and so
feel like
you
in Kayson's situation,
go ahead.
Yeah. I feel like in this situation, I feel like the girls are the aggressors.
Okay. And I think that it depends on the parent and what you're going through, right? Like a little boy said something that was so woefully inappropriate to Kayla that I parked sideways in the parking lot because ain't nobody leaving until I find out whose mannish son said this to me. We about to fix this today, right? Nobody's going home. And then Kayla was like, so I'm not going to be telling you things because you can't do that. Like that was very embarrassing. So I know that it's not that, the perspective is based on the child you have. And I only have my perspective as Kayla's mom. And so far, you know what I mean? It's been like where it is like, hey, let me ask a couple of more questions. Okay, so now I'm getting a little bit more details. Let me over here, like, let me ask a couple more questions. Okay, this is exactly like when the teacher said, or the vice principal was like, Kayla said this. I was like, she didn't say that. We're gonna move on, right? But they also said she said that. Now that she said, I know like that she said that, right? And so it's like, okay, I'm learning that everything, even though my daughter has always been very honest, like I have to take everything with a grain of salt as these middle school years are coming in, because it's a different level of hiding. It's a different level of manipulation. It's a different level of anger. It's a different level of peer pressure that I'm just like, when does this end? Because I'm only 1 year in and I'm ready to, snatch souls, take them up, put them back in the body, send everybody back to school. But clearly that could be done.
I'm not ready. I think I got lucky. The school that Kason goes to is very small, so there's only like 2 classes per grade. And so he has a little group of friends, and I know their moms. So if something does happen, if something does happen, I'm calling the moms, and it either happened, the girl, whoever it happened with, is either in my class or the other person's class, the other friend's class. So the moms know the girls, the moms know each other, the friends. So we can kind of call and network and try to figure out the story. We'll piece the story together.
Right.
I'll get his side, they'll get their son's side, and we'll put it together, and then we'll go to the teachers or the principal or whoever we need to go to.
Do you think that there's a level of peer pressure for boys that's more like, I feel like girls always have to be on. They always have to, like, there's this pressure to be perfect and all. Do you feel that happens with your son at all?
I do. Because like I said, he is the kid that doesn't want to be yelled at. He doesn't want to be wrong. He doesn't want to get in trouble. So there's a peer pressure to do right, but then there's a peer pressure to go with the crowd. Like, gotta be cool, whatever their version of cool is. Want to make silly noises in class because everybody laughs. Like, they're still trying to figure out their friend group. Right. They're still trying to figure out where they fit in the circle. Because Paula and I, so we already know that Paula is the sweet, nice one. She's going to give you the real advice, and Jamie's going to come with some shenanigans, and then our shaninis intermingle, right? So we know our place. They're still trying to figure out their place in the circle.
Got it.
Who's the cool one? Who's the funny one? They're still trying to figure that out. And so I feel like with him, that's the peer pressure. The peer pressure is making sure that I'm liked, making sure that, somebody's going to invite me to a birthday party, that kind of thing.
That is 3rd grade.
Yeah. Making sure somebody's going to invite me to a birthday party. Like, this summer, he's been going to almost a different camp every summer. And I know me, if that was me, I probably would have been traumatized, because I don't like going into new places. Well, I didn't when I was younger. I did not like going into new places where I didn't know anyone. Mm-hmm. He takes it on the chin. He'll show up and figure it out. And he's also the kid that he has a social battery for kids. And so when his social battery runs out, he'll go and find a corner and either sit by himself or talk to an adult. So yeah, because like he's very adult. Like, he does not really fall in line with kids like that. So maybe I got lucky in that area when it comes to trying to fit in elementary school.
Okay, very good. So Paula, my next question is to you. In a day and age where young ladies are like, we ain't going to Cheesecake Factory. You got to pay for it all. You like, what are you telling your son?
So we actually we talked about this a little bit on the live. So because he works with us, sometimes he's sitting at my desk when we're going live while we're in the conversations, but he's doing his own thing. There's a few times where he obliges us and will come in and say something. So one time he did. And I've kind of expressed as far as like, because I have a hard line on it. Because you do sometimes need supplements and you need a little bit here and there. I don't supplement you to be able to do all the things, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so one of the things he did share was that one of his first dates was Cold Stones. They went to Cold Stones, and that was the date. Just to kind of feel her out, to see, like, see if I like you. We're attracted to you, you're attracted to me. Let's start at Cold Stones. And so that's his kind of thing. But he absolutely does Cheesecake Factory. I feel like he is learning how to pick the people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so he does the Cheesecake Factory. That's why I tell him about a lifestyle as far as being able to support it, because he's a person that likes to go on nice dates. And he wants a person who wants to enjoy experiences and is open. Like one of the things recently, like they went parasailing, went to Newport Beach and went parasailing.
Nice.
So you know what I'm saying? So he likes to do things and likes to go out to eat. And sometimes when I look and I see the transactions and I'm like, oh, Joey's and the this and the that, but he likes to do those things. But I don't think there's an expectation on him where he doesn't feel like I'm supposed to be paying for all of this. Because no,
Right.
any relationship is going to be give and take, and we can have experiences. And also, one of the things he did express, he's like, I like her because we don't have to be doing anything. I just enjoy her company. So we don't always, I don't always have to be spending money, or we don't always have to spend money. We just enjoy being together. So I think he's learned to decipher, you know, he's also a gift giver. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes he'll be getting these bouquets of flowers. And so I remember one time saying, so what did you do? Like, why? Like, are you apologizing? What did you do?
Right.
What did you do? Like, this is expensive, a huge bouquet. And he was like, Mom, I give flowers just because. Like, I didn't do anything.
Look at the man you raised, okay?
I give flowers just because. It's like,
good job, Mom.
You know, so things like
And Dad.
And he'll ask questions like, what do you think about this? You know, we're thinking about a trip. How do you think I should handle it? And I'm like, well, you're not going to be paying for everything. So let's set that out first so you guys can figure out this is our trip. You know, what are you going to handle? You know, just having a conversation, because you guys, and I also tell them relationship wise, it requires communication. It's not going to be perfect. And you know what I mean? You want to be an adult, you're an adult relationship. So he's still learning. But when I hear my son say, like Jamie and I, we had just went to a wedding just a week ago. And I was showing him some of the things at the wedding. Now, mind you, he's 21 going on 22. He starts saying, yeah, you know, when I get married, because he had already told Jamie and I, what age did he say, Jamie? He said by the time he's 25.
In his 30s, right?
Before he planned, like he's already thinking like, I plan on being married. You know, he started telling me, yeah, I know my wedding will probably be a mix of my childhood friends and my college friends. So these are things he's already, as much as he's having fun and he's doing all the social things, just thinking like, he talks about being married, being a parent. Like, I already know that I'm going to be, you know what I'm saying? So I know, like, okay, so these, you know, definitely, we're not going to pay for everything. We just, like, it's a partnership. You know what I mean? And that's what I've told him. I just want somebody that's going to be a good partner for you in the areas that you're lacking, that they can assist you in the areas they're lacking, and you guys can be good teammates. That doesn't mean they're going to do all the things for you because you've had that at home, but they just have to be prepared to be a good partner. I have some other requirements, but these are just my things that we, you know, we talked about. He's falling in line so far though.
Nice.
Good. That's awesome to hear that though. And he's already speaking, or I won't say speaking, identifying that is something that he is wanting for himself in his 20s, but it comes from a place of it wasn't just talked about because he turned 18. Now let's talk about these things as a parent. It comes from a place of this is what had been seen, you know, in regards to just a healthy relationship. Healthy relationship does not mean perfect, you know, but just that understanding of communications, of adjustments, of stop doing and start doing, you know, and then all in between. So it's kind of like when I call them the big kids. They don't like that though, but the adult kids, for them, they really don't. They look at me like, for real, my bad, I regress. But when they start identifying what they want, first of all, being able to say what they want and working towards that, it's like, yes, yes, you know, good job. Because some adult children are just taking in the wind, you know, they just going wherever, whenever, and just lost. So yeah.
And then too, I think him having friends, like asking him questions about your friend. Are their parents involved? Are there, you know, just kind of getting a sense of who is in the circle, and are their parents involved? Are their parents hands-on? Do they have expectations? That's also kind of important for me, just to kind of see like who do you hang out with? You know what I mean? Because if you're the leader and we know you got about because he tends to be the one that's leading and they're looking to him for the guidance. But we're still guiding you. But okay. All right.
But it just
I
shows
love
that he's
that,
been paying
though.
attention. So
Yes,
Because
thank
Kayla
you.
will bring the phone to me like, Mom, so and so needs help with this, and I'm just like,
Mhm.
I don't want to help them with that, but I also it's like she's home by herself and she's afraid. Like they call the police. Like what do you want? What do you want from me?
Right?
Tell her to call me, okay? In that sense, when it's a child, it makes sense, okay? You're not an adult calling me, but anyways, but okay.
I was like,
That's
okay,
hilarious.
but I love that she'll bring it and that she's in a space where her friends trust her, right? And it's teaching me. She's teaching me, right? Because I learn from my kid just as much as I teach her. Because she was just like, I want to be to my friends what I want you to be for me, and I was like, well, what's that? She was like, well, I can come and talk to you, but you're always ready to go beat up somebody. I was like, okay. And she's like,
Well, she
I
got the
don't wanna
message,
fight.
so
She's like, I don't want to
Like,
fight.
Jason,
So I need you to just give me just the advice, not to fight. Like, all right, fine. So I'm learning how to respond to her because the response can really back her up. You know what I mean? And because, she tell me something, I'm like, wait, what's his name? He said what to you? You know what I mean? Like I immediately go into protective mode. And she's like, I'm just sharing. I don't want to do anything. I just want to share. Like, I don't need you to fix it, but I am a fixer. I'm just like, I'm very solution oriented. How we going to do this? What's gonna be the end game? She's like, sometimes the end game is just you being quiet and listening to me, Mom. That's it.
Yeah.
Right. So,
it's
and
hard.
having the freedom to say that, because the other
it
day
don't
she
mean
was
it's
like,
easy though.
right. It's not. And the other day she said, I thought we were working on you not talking when I'm talking.
I'm loving the level of accountability, okay? Okay.
But there was a part of me that was like, who are you talking? Like my eye
Right.
Turner came and I
She's
had
like, Mommy, we had this conversation, and what you said was you was gonna work on it. So let's revisit the syllabus so we can get back on track.
I am working on it, but I still want to know who this little boy is that said he cussed you out. You know what I mean? And then like at the same time, not giving her permission to cuss back.
Mm-hmm.
At her age, I sure enough would have just went on fired off a couple of words.
For real.
All right. So as we are wrapping up, first of all, I want to say thank you all for joining us, being here with us. It has been great. It's been great just to catch up with you guys. Like I know that Jamie and I, have had communication. Paula and I have had communication. I jump on y'all's live sometime when I can remember, because I need to set a timer, right? I need to set a timer just so I could like bring it back to what we so I could join in more, because I love the feedback. I love when we're having conversations on your show. And then to bring Danielle in so that we could all just talk a little bit. Like this has been really fun. And like, that girlfriends brunch where you guys haven't seen each other in a couple of years and y'all get together.
Yes.
But without the food. And I know Paula is ready to eat. So I know Paula like, listen, we're gonna wrap this up, right?
Right.
I can only have so much water. Let's hurry up.
Oh, gosh.
But I just want to say thank you, Jamie. I love your hair.
Thank you.
I love your hair. I know that you're probably not accepting clients. However, can you give us just like a couple of hair tips before we go?
Hair tips, like as far as locks go. Water is your friend and your enemy.
Wait, okay, that needs an explanation.
Regular maintenance. Well, I mean, it depends on what stage you are in the locking process. So if you're fully locked, then your hair needs the moisture. If you're newly locked, then the water will unravel your locks. Okay. So you just have to be mindful.
So water instead of conditioner, or
like we don't use conditioner. We don't use any type of oil-based products. You don't need it. Like you don't need all of that stuff. We don't use creams. We don't use conditioners. We don't use grease. We don't use any of that.
Okay, now I have a question because when I
I
hug
got a
you,
question, but go ahead.
okay.
No, go ahead.
Just
When
go
you
ahead.
hug her, you smell something. No, I'm
When
not
I
saying in a
hug
bad way.
you,
I do sense you speaking my love language. Like, what we'll be smelling like. Okay, go ahead.
when I hug you, it smells like it might be like a eucalyptus tea tree type of feel, but
That's exactly what it
it's
is.
never funky, right? Like because I'm a big fan of natural, but I know that there's a difference between being natural and unkept, right? And so I love that when I hug you, like there is no offensive scalp hair smell. What do you do to keep your hair smelling good?
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I try. I have a water bottle that I use every day, and in that water bottle is distilled water, a little rose oil, mostly peppermint, some tea tree oil, and some argan oil. And I use
Okay,
that
I got
every
all those.
day.
Okay.
I use
So
that
you put
every
no
single
oil
day,
though. So the argan
but
oil.
it's just little drops
Okay.
Like a little.
out
Okay.
of a whole like 10-ounce spray bottle. There's droplets of that, and that's all that I use
Okay.
every single day. Spray my scalp and then maybe just a little mist on the actual locks to loosen them up. But that's it. I don't put creams and conditioners and masks. I don't do all that.
You do your edges
There's no
still?
need. No, girl, I never did no baby hair edges, but I still got them.
Because I see people doing that, and I just wonder, like,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
My edges get brushed up into the locks.
Right. Yeah.
But thank you, Kiana.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So Paula, on your hair journey, because you used to wear like the
short.
kind
A
of
short Halle Berry.
Short. I used to
right.
have a relaxer. I used to
So
have a
as
relaxer.
you have changed your hair journey, like what are some tips that you would give people?
Um, so I did braids when the pandemic hit. My hair had just grown just enough to do braids. This one had teased me thoroughly. You can't get no braids in your hair. You're not gonna do no braids. So when it was long enough, and you did, it was
I
long
did.
enough,
I
I
did.
ventured to braids, and I hadn't had braids since college in the 90s. So I did braids for 3 years. Did braids for 3 years, and my hair really grew. I loved my braids. It was just different.
Mhm.
Hair got long, and she was like, well, why don't you think about locks? And I was like, that's such a commitment. It's so permanent. And she's like, but you've done braids so long, and you've also had short hair. So if you don't like your locks, you can cut them off and go back to short. And so for me, I was like, okay, because the times I would take the braids out and I discovered that wash day experience because I never knew what that was because I've been in salons.
Mhm.
I was like, it's a lot. It's a lot for me, but I love the fact that I've grown all this hair. I want to see what that's like, but I wasn't going to be able to maintain it and also work out 6 times a week. You know what I'm saying? And so decided to lock my hair, went with traditional locks, but I wanted them a smaller size. And I tend to be sometimes indecisive. And I just made the decision. Like I just was like,
And
let me just do it.
A major part of that was when she had the shortcut, she had a relaxer. And I was like, no creamy crack, no creamy crack. You can't go back.
Yep.
So that was the thing. It was like, okay, well, if I don't get a relaxer, then what am I going to do with this hair? Because I think she rather enjoyed all the hair that she had grown out. So yeah.
And that was it. So this is a little over a year of locks. I had quite a bit of hair when I started. So I didn't feel like I went through this awkward phase because I had, you know what I'm saying? Because it was kind of a concern for me because I got to look right. And I really enjoyed when she started my locks and I was like, okay, I can work with this. And before I knew it, it was growing. It was like right here initially, probably. And it just kept getting longer and longer. And I'm enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it because, I'm not used, I guess, so long with the short hair. That was like 20 years. And so to go to like having hair, I look in the mirror, I'm like, oh, I have like a full head of hair now, which is, interesting for me. But I do enjoy it. It was a good choice. It was absolutely a good choice. But Jamie, I'm gonna need you to make me a thing of oil. That bottle.
I was just about to say, do you mind sharing the recipe, if you will? Because one thing about me, I'm all for natural, and when and locks or not, it's still scalp. So, you know what I mean? So I'm thinking
Mhm.
scalp health, and I can talk about this all day. But anyways, but I was like, I need the deets. You said it, but I wasn't writing
Like,
them down. And how big is the
so
bottle and how much water and all that?
it's just a regular spray bottle that I bought from the beauty supply store. It's probably about 8 to 10 ounces. But one thing that I learned going through this process, because I am a certified Sisterlock um, consultant, and one thing that I learned in the class is our scalp does not need all the things that we put on it. Like, it's the beauty industry that's telling us
That's
you
telling
need these
us.
creams, you need these masks, you need this moisture, but your scalp was created and designed to moisturize itself.
Yeah.
So what we do by putting all that stuff on there is we're like clogging our follicles, and we're just layering things on top
On
of our
top.
scalp, which is
Yeah.
why people's hair gets dirty, why people's hair, scalp starts to stink. It's why people have to wash their hair more often than not. I wash my hair once a month before I go and get a retouch. And I wash my scalp. And then the rest of the time, all I do is use my spray bottle, and I don't have flakes, don't have dandruff. My hair does not itch. Like y'all said, it don't stink. Like, I know that if I'm out in a dust storm, okay, Jamie, you probably need to wash your hair.
I was gonna say, because our
Right.
hair collects so much during the day. Like I can't imagine.
But I mean, it depends on where you are. You know when your hair is dirty. You
Right.
know when your hair is dirty.
Yeah.
You know when it needs to be washed. I'm not out here rolling around in sand. But
Right.
I'm mindful. Like, if
Right.
I scratch my hair and I see dirt under my nails, okay, Jamie, you've been sweating. You might need to go wash your hair.
Right. Okay.
Right.
But it don't need to be washed every other day, every other week.
Right.
Spray bottle. That's all you need.
Okay.
And then there's so many things like social media with locks and different information. Some of it
Mhm.
correct, some of it misinformation. For me, I'll run things across Jamie. And then I also look at like what's been working. If my hair has been flourishing, like I don't have the spray that she has. I just have a little thing of rose water that I get from Trader Joe's because I like my ends to stay loose and curly. So I'm constantly keeping them moisturized. But I just continue to do what I feel like works and try not to introduce too many things into because it's already going on the path and it's working. So I don't want to introduce too much to it. You know what I mean? So
Got it. All right. Well,
yeah.
thank you, ladies. I appreciate you coming on. This was a great show. The two-part series with Paula and Jamie. I appreciate it. What is it? 10 minutes with our business bestie. Not business bestie. See,
Oh, say,
I say
go
your
get
long
it.
name, Jamie. What's the name of the show?
10-minute talks with your favorite besties. Our IG is your favorite besties, at your favorite besties. And then Paula on Facebook is Paula K. Hammond. We don't have a your favorite besties Facebook, but you can find us there.
Okay. So y'all got that because I'm gonna mess it up if I
Your
try.
favorite besties, BESTEEZ.
Yes.
Thank you. And if you have any questions, comments, want to follow up on the show, because we can bring them back. Like, we would love for y'all to come
Yes, we
back.
can.
Yeah, this would be good.
And things like that. So if you
This
guys
was
want to
fun.
send us an email, send it to therealonparenting@gmail.com. Thank you for joining us here on Brownstone Worldwide, KCCR, Cityscape Radio. We will talk to you soon.